Hey YouTube, what is up? Well, I promised you guys a Legacy Titanus review, so here it is. And as you can see, I combined my Legacy Titanus with the Legacy Dragonzord and the 2010 Dinozord, which is the same thing as a Legacy Dinozord, only that it's made of all plastic instead of metal. Actually, they are bringing back the Legacy Dinozord too, so if you're thinking about getting one, hold off till around May, because they're going to be out for $60. And they're also making the black and gold version too, so hold off for that too, because I might be buying both, because those look beautiful. But anyway, let's get on to Titanus's box before we go too deep into Titanus. As you can see, the box is huge and you can only get it at Toys R Us, and unfortunately Toys R Us didn't do the greatest job shipping it to me. The box itself got pretty dinged up. Thankfully enough, the insides weren't rattled too much. Now, what you get inside this Legacy Titanus box is, of course, the Legacy Titanus Zord. Now, the Legacy Titanus Zord only comes in about 3 pieces. The head, neck area detaches, the tail detaches, and that's pretty much it. The front paws come off if you want to combine it like I did before, but nothing else really comes off of it. It's pretty solid otherwise. Now, as you can see, the top of the box got a little dinged in transit. It's hard to notice because the crack actually lines up with the markings on Titanus, but it was pretty dinged up, and that's after it was crushed. Like, the outer box of this thing became completely crushed somehow on its way to my house. So thankfully the only damage was to the box itself, though it's the top of the box, so it doesn't matter that much to me. But I'm just glad, you know, the box isn't completely obliterated, because, you know, you pay $120, you expect it not to be broken when you get it. Now, when you look at the back of the box, it just shows the Titanus Zord itself. It shows that the neck moves and that it can be transformed into a battle mode. I will show you all of these and Titanus by itself, and once again combined with the Legacy Dinozord and Legacy Dragonzord, or 2010 Dinozord. Anyway, it shows that combination for the Ultra Zord on the right side of the box, and it also shows it on this side of the box for some reason. It's just the same image kind of shrunk down, and then the other side just shows the story of the Power Rangers. So that's about it. I do like how they tied in the Green Ranger though. They put him in front of the other Rangers that are stacked on other Legacy items. And the bottom of the box just shows the fact that it comes with Titanus and 2 pieces that act as stands for the Dinozord so that it could support the weight of the Dragonzord whilst you put it on Titanus. Now, just to show you how large and detailed the Ultra Zord is when you combine it together, it's really, really big. Here's the front of it, here's the side, here's the back, and that's about it. The other side is nearly identical, so I'm not going to show it. Now, this entire Zord is approximately the length of my arm, maybe from my forearm to the tip of my fingers. That's huge, considering the fact that my forearm is the same length as my size 14 shoes. And here, so you can see, is the Legacy Dinozord and the Legacy Dragonzord without any leg clips. And here it is with leg clips. So you can see the difference. It does make it stand up a bit more. It stops it from leaning forward so much, because it does fall over in Titanus if it leans forward too much. And just a quick close-up, these are what the leg clips look like. Nothing but a 2-cent piece of plastic, because they didn't consider the weight of the Legacy Zords. Now, here is what the Legacy Titanus Zord looks like when you remove the Dinozord and Dragonzord from its back and replace all the pieces, putting it into just Titanus form, not the Ultra Zord mode or any other weird alteration. This is just Titanus with no changes. As you can see, it's very, very detailed, and everything you see in front of you is either molded plastic, some weird kind of screen printed plastic, or solid metal. The chest piece that comes off that goes on the Ultra Zord in the middle that you can see on Titanus' chest is metal on the front, and in the back is plastic. Anything you see that is 3-dimensional is obviously molded plastic, and the hieroglyphs you see are actually some weird form of screen printed image. It's not a sticker in any way. I'm showing the side of Titanus again just so you could see the difference, what it looks like when it's not in Ultra Zord mode. As you can see, the cannons that were once resting on his shoulders are now put back together and now act as its tail, and the 2 claws that were on the Dinozord that acted as the arms which held the chain you can see on Titanus' back are now put back on Titanus, where they are a paw in front of him, and they actually move, and I will show that later on. Now, just to show Titanus' back, it's nothing special. I mean, most Zords look pretty good from every side, you know, they have a lot of detail. Titanus is highly detailed on its front and side, but its back is very, very lacking, and I assume that's because they assume you are going to put it into the Ultra mode, where the back piece would be raised up, and you'd kind of be focusing on the Dino and Dragon Zords. The back isn't ugly looking, and it's very good when it's molded plastic and stuff like that. It's just not colorful, and it doesn't really pop the way the front and sides of the Zord do. How detailed and actually crisp the molded plastic on it looks, if you look at the green Dragon Zord symbol or the golden ring with the red inside of it, that's all molded plastic. Every color you see either pops out or is indented in some way, and it has a really nice texture to it. As I said before, the hieroglyphics look like some weird kind of screen printing. I don't know if it's silk screened or whatever method they used. All I know is it looks great and it doesn't come off in any way. I've scratched at it, nothing. No tearing at all. And if you think back all of 3 seconds, here is the leg motion that I was referring to. If you spin Titanus's front wheels, his arms move back and forth. They don't move up or down or anything like that, just back and forth. Now, to take a close-up of Titanus's side, you can actually see the leaps and bounds that injection molding technology has taken over the last decade or so since the last Legacy Titanus Zord came out. Actually, 2 decades now. Wow. Anyway, you can see the gold is actually a different texture, like the golden circles. It's a different texture than the rest of the Zord. The black is indented and the red is exdented, as well as a close-up of the hieroglyphics. You can actually see that each one is a very distinguishable, different hieroglyphic. It's not just some weird smudge that looks like a hieroglyphic from far away. Titanus's neck is highly flexible and it relies on the same series of ball joints that the Legacy Dragon Zord's tail relies on. A series of ball joints going all the way up to the neck in a segmented fashion to allow it to have crazy amounts of mobility and for allowing it to twist its neck to the left and to the right as well. You can see you can move it up, down, to the sides. You could turn it so that it almost looks at its back. The neck and mouth move in, seamless ways. I really can't, give them enough props, or whatever you wish to call it, for how well they made this neck. And just to give you guys a better close-up than the one I provided before, you could see the amount of detail that went into this. The golden rings that are on the chest piece of Titanus that are also the chest piece of the Dino Zord when you make it into the Ultra Zord are all molded and golden colored. They have their own texture to them. All the hieroglyphics are easily readable because of the screen printing they used to make it, and all the molded plastic is great and smooth. There are no harsh, rugged edges. Now, if you want to pop out that chest piece, you have to pull down Titanus's front chest and then push down on what you see there, which is actually the back of the wheels that pop out when you want to make it into the Ultra Zord. The wheels themselves are rubber and have a nice grip to them, but I would be careful because the entire Titanus Zord itself does have a predisposition to roll around a lot, and I have mine in a high bookshelf, so I taped all the wheels to stop them from moving. The tailpiece was easily viewable before when it was in Ultra Zord mode where they were resting on Titanus's shoulders, but here's what the tail looks like once you put the pieces back together and snap it back into the tail position. The pieces for mine somehow were a little, I guess, off, but I think that was just because I messed with it so much. But here's what it looks like if you were wondering. The only detail really is the golden tips. This is the socket for the tailpiece where you can see the 2 small ball joints, which is how Titanus's tail connects. But if you want to make it into the Ultra Zord, you can see the slight hole in the middle. That is where the Dragon Zord tailpiece would connect if you wanted to make it into the Ultra Zord. Here is the inside of the tail if you decide to split the tail in half, and you can see the 2 small balls in the middle. That's where it connects to the Zord itself if you do want to make it into the tailpiece. Now, I do like how detailed it is on the inside. I just dislike the amount of screw holes that are visible and the lack of screw caps. Legacy Saba had a lot of screws, but it had a lot of screw cap covers, which I thought made up for the fact. Anyway, this is how you connect the tail to the shoulder pieces. It's a simple slide on rail. I'm having a little difficulty with it because the legs do actually move a little bit. They have a fair bit of wiggle. But once you get it, it just kind of snaps into place, and that's about it. It is fairly tough to get it at first. And just to touch on something that I mentioned before, Titanus's back. It is very, very bare. Of course, you could do what I did just now and drape the gold chain over Titanus's back, which does add some kind of color to the sparse gray on gray. But I mean, I feel like they should have added some kind of coloring, maybe in like the divots you could see on the left and right side. I don't know, I mean, the gray undertone that it has that's textured looks really nice, but I just wish there was more color. It just seems so bland to me. And being that I made mention of Titanus's chain, here's where the chain connects to Titanus itself. You can see it's a weird gold cylinder that actually rotates with the chain, which is good because it alleviates any stress you would put on the chain where it connects to Titanus. And for some reason, they decided to add detail and texture into the back of Titanus, but only on the inside of the flip-up cover. It seems backwards to me because the back of it is very bland and very visible, and this is the only part that, when visible, is sure to be covered by the Ultra Zord. That is to say, when you open this up, you don't see it otherwise, and when you open it, you're going to put the Dino Zord right in front of it, blocking the view of that anyway. So why put detail there? Why not just shift it to the back? Come on. With that being said though, here's what Titanus would look like if you put it into the Ultra Zord mode without any of the other Zords. This is what it looks like when you are preparing to combine it with the Dino Zord and Dragon Zord. So it doesn't look, that bad actually. It's just, with the addition of the other Zords, it makes it look a little less bland and makes it a lot bigger and a lot more heavy. A lot heavier, I guess is a better way to say that, and it also rolls around a lot. So be careful with that because it does roll around a lot once you put the other Zords on top of it because it makes it top heavy. So you don't want it falling, don't put it anywhere high. And just to show you Titanus's wheels real quick, they do have a nice texture to them. And with that, I'd like to say thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I do have a question for you guys. If you'd like retro reviews, that is reviews of other Power Ranger Zords from the past that I have, and I have pretty much every single Zord from the past, give this video a thumbs up, or if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, just so I know you guys are interested in more Megazord videos. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want those retro reviews, don't forget to click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.